Gotcha.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my ammo guide for the bowguns. I'm about to give you everything you need to know about all of the ammo types by simply running through all of the ammo types. You'll want to watch this guide from beginning to end and not really skip around because I'm just going to be explaining things as I go. It's not really well scripted or anything, so every time I just come across an opportunity to teach you something new, it's just going to come right out. So you're going to want to watch beginning and end, okay? So starting with the normal ammos, they have kind of a white ammo icon. And what you're looking at is, well, it only shows normal ammo 2 and normal ammo 3 in the item box. That's because all bowguns, by default, have an infinite amount of built-in normal ammo. So there's no reason to buy any, right? Normal ammo level 1 is, there's no build for it. It doesn't do enough damage. That's just how it is, right? That's kind of the same for Pierce and for Spread. They just don't do that much damage. There's probably exceptions if you have rapid fire on the Spread, but it's not going to be the meta, right? It's not going to do as much damage as you want it to. So probably you would use those ammos at the beginning of your game. If you're brand new, you might use level 1 normal, level 1 Pierce, level 1 Spread. But the point is for you to eventually work your way into using them at levels 2 and 3. Okay, so for normal ammo 1, I really only use it to set off a barrel bomb or to shoot a boulder so that it'll fall on top of a monster. Otherwise, I don't use it. We can move on to talking about normal ammo 2. Now, this is actually a legit good ammo type, but there's kind of some conditions you have to watch for. You want a condition or an attribute, if you want to call it an attribute. You're looking for the rapid fire attribute. And the way it works is only the light bowguns get this attribute. You'll notice, well, there's multiple ways to look at it and detect if your bowgun has it. You could just fire the ammo type. If you fire the ammo and it splits the bullet that you fired into 3 parts, that's rapid fire. And basically what's going on there is, yes, the bullet is in 3 parts, but if you land all 3 parts, you're going to be dealing about as much damage as the next ammo tier. I think you deal, I can't remember, is it even or is it more like you even deal more damage? I think it might be even. But what's interesting is there's a skill in the game you really want for your bowguns called free element/ammo up. Technically for us it would be the ammo up portion of the skill. And for bowguns, this is pretty standard for increasing your damage. The idea is simple. You increase the length of the clip of ammo, and this means you reload less. And with a bowgun, the less times you have to reload in a fight, the more time you spend shooting, and therefore the more sustained DPS that you do, essentially, right? So very commonly with bowguns, we'll combine ammo up and spare shot. Those 2 skills go together and they increase how many times you fire before you have to reload your weapon. So you've got these rapid fire guns, and for the normal ammo, you're going to do just about as much damage as the normal ammo 3 bullets, but you've got this special case now where you only need to build 2 levels of ammo up, and then there's some other bonus conditions as well. Generally, you hold more ammo in a clip of normal ammo 2 than you do in a clip of normal ammo 3. So if you look at the ammo progression on your bowgun, let's go ahead and I'll show you how to look at you need to learn how to do this, it's really important. Let's go ahead and look at all of the details of the ammo for my bowgun. I've got the Karma light bowgun. I'm going to go to change equipment. I'm going to select my weapon Karma, and then I'm going to go ahead and look at ammo information, which you can do by pushing down on the left joystick. Alright. So this list pops up and is full of details. It gets kind of complicated. The first thing you need to understand when you're looking at it, let your eyes drift over to the normal ammo 2 in the list. Notice there's those 2 little yellow arrows right next to the ammo icon. That indicates that you have rapid fire. It also says it over under the shot type tab. It says rapid fire. You know, it also shows you the level of recoil that you have and the reload speed. And then on the far right, once again, it indicates that this is a rapid fire ammo type. You know, it's got the little arrows right there. And what you'll see also, there's a tab called capacity, and capacity tells you how much ammo you hold. Well, if you look at normal ammo 1, you hold 4 shots. If you look at normal ammo 2, you hold less. You hold 3 shots. And if this bowgun happened to have normal ammo 3, I'm willing to bet it would only have 2 shots of the normal ammo 3. So normal ammo 2 tends to hold more ammo, and it only requires 2 levels of the free element/ammo up skill. And yet, if you have the rapid fire attribute, it's going to do just as much damage as normal ammo 3. So this is why pretty much the only time you build for normal ammo in the end game, I mean, in the early game, do whatever you want to do, right? Just play with your best ammos, whatever your strongest ammo is, just play with that. But if we're talking about end game builds where you're fighting tempered monsters, arch-tempered monsters, the Behemoth, Kulftaroth, you really want to understand not just how do these ammo types work, but which bowguns use them. And that's kind of the complicated part of all this. So with the Carmelite bowgun, we would use normal ammo too, and we would say this is actually a decent bowgun for using normal ammo, and that's because it's got the rapid fire attribute. You can get a more efficient build out. So Karma is one of the light bowguns that uses rapid fire normal ammo too. Two other bowguns that do this really well are the Kulftaroth Shot light bowgun and the Kulftaroth Support light bowgun. And the Support light bowgun technically has the best damage output for rapid fire 2. In fact, once again, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but it was actually the Support light bowgun that was used to solo the Extreme Behemoth with rapid fire normal ammo 2. So it's a very legit ammo type, and there are builds for it, but I wouldn't use it on a heavy bowgun. You'll notice not only do heavy bowguns not get rapid fire, but if you were going to go ahead and go with like a normal ammo level 3 build on a heavy bowgun, and that would be the next tier, right? You're going to do more damage per shot with the normal ammo level 3. But the problem is there's just so many good builds on the heavy bowguns that it would be you would be stepping down in terms of power if you decided to go with normal ammo level 3. You certainly can, but there's just way better builds. So you never really see normal ammo builds on the heavy bowguns. You know, another thing, I suspect the mid-range critical distance for the... Okay, I didn't explain that part. Normal ammo 2, it has kind of a mid-range distance. You don't have to be super close, but you can actually step away from your target and still get the critical distance modifier, right? The thing that allows you to do damage, basically. Right, if you step outside of your critical distance, you don't deal any damage. The damage drops off to like 1s and 2s. So with a normal ammo type, you can stay kind of far away from the target, and you can also hit the weak spots on your target that are harder to reach. Like let's say you have a monster and they've got wings and they keep their wings in the air. Well, you're not really going to be able to hit that too well with your spread ammo, and that's what normal ammo can actually hit very well. And it deals all of its damage like up front. It's not like pierce ammo either. Pierce ammo, it relies on the target being really large and long, and normal ammo doesn't really rely on that. Normal ammo deals all of its damage to the part of the monster's body that you actually shot. So that's kind of the profile of how the bullet actually works, the mechanics of it. You'll understand now that the best builds for normal ammo are going to be normal ammo 2. Nobody really uses normal ammo 3. You certainly don't use it on the light bowguns because they have access to normal ammo 2. You could use normal ammo 3 on a heavy bowgun, but nobody really does because there's just way better builds for the heavy bowguns, okay? So now you know all about normal ammo. Next up, we have the pierce ammo. Pierce ammo has a very different profile from the normal ammo. With normal ammo, I was just explaining how the way it works is you shoot a monster's body part, and all of the damage is dealt to that body part. Well, with the pierce ammo, it doesn't work that way. Pierce ammo does exactly what the name suggests. It actually travels through the body part, and it continues to do damage as long as it's inside of the monster's body. So whenever you use pierce ammo, you're always aiming down, you're always trying to aim down the longest part of the monster's body so that you're going to get multiple ticks or procs of damage, and the better you are at doing this, the more damage you're going to get. Pierce ammo became super relevant in the late game when they released Arch-Tempered Zenijeva, and he just has this really long body, right? Like you can shoot him through his arms, you can shoot him down his head, you can shoot him most directions. You're going to get a lot of procs of damage against Arch-Tempered Zenijeva. He happens to be really relevant to endgame builds as well, just because he gives away the Gamma armor set that gives you spare shots. So it's a really valuable monster, really valuable armor set, particularly for bowguns of all things. And yeah, so we'll be using pierce ammo against him, but there are other monsters that are weak to pierce ammo as well. Basilgeuse is a good example, Uragan is a good example. By the way, mild spoilers here. I'm going to be talking about, I might talk about various monsters. I guess I'm already doing that. So if you're very, very new to the game, you might want to be careful because I will talk about the monsters that are in the game, and if you don't want to know them, if you don't want to hear about them, you might want to save this video for later and watch it then. But if you don't mind hearing about them, I won't say anything that I I won't say anything that I don't have to. I'll just be talking about how it relates to the ammo itself, right? So Pierce Ammo level 1, 2, and 3. You're not going to be using Pierce Ammo level 1, just like you don't use normal ammo level 1, and you don't use, well, some people have made spread ammo level 1 builds, but those aren't meta builds. Those aren't like your best damaging builds. So with the Pierce Ammo, you definitely don't use any Pierce Ammo level 1 builds. There are some light bowguns that you can use Pierce Ammo level 2, but in my opinion, it really just doesn't hold a candle up to what the heavy bowguns are capable of doing with this ammo type. You have a few heavy bowguns that really use this ammo type well now. You have the support heavy bowgun. This is a Kulve Taroth weapon. You have the Empress Cannon Sticks. That's a you can certainly go with the Pierce Ammo build on that bowgun. And then I believe we have a new Khajar Kulve Taroth heavy bowgun that does it as well. I can't remember which one it is. Let me take a look for a moment. Is it the Khajar? Might be the Khajar Assault Spark. I know that it got pretty good Pierce Ammo. Let's see. Is it the water actually? It might be the water. Yes, the Khajar. It looks like, yeah, it's the Khajar Assault Water. So we have a few heavy bowguns that are really good with Pierce Ammo, and they use Pierce Ammo level 3. Remember, with the levels for the ammo types, the higher the level, the more damage, but it typically has heavier recoil, it typically has a longer reload speed, and you typically don't hold as much of the ammo. However, with that being said, it still ends up being better than like the level 1 ammo, and in most cases, the level 2 ammo. We talked about a case where the level 1 normal ammo, the level 2 normal ammo was more valuable, thanks to the rapid fire attribute. So yeah, with Pierce Ammo, similar to the normal ammo, you'll simply build the ammo up skill, you'll look for the spare shot skill, and then for all three of the basic ammo types, that is normal, pierce, and spread, you use affinity and crit boost to get all of your damage. So you want your affinity to be brought up to 100, and you want to bring level 3 crit boost. For all three of those ammo types, that's how you deal damage with those ammo types, okay? Just so you know. And then also you can consider bringing things like peak performance or attack boost. Those will help you as well in terms of getting more damage out. Finally, for those ammo types, normal, pierce, and spread, you're going to be bringing they each have a special decoration just for that ammo type. So there's a spread shot decoration, there's a piercing decoration, and there's a normal ammo I think it's called force shot for that one. But they each have a special decoration that increases the damage output of that ammo type by 10%. It's quite a lot. So you definitely, if you don't have those decorations, you try to find ways to replace them. For example, with the normal ammo, you can use the Black Diablos leggings. For the piercing decoration, you can use the Wrath Soul, coil? And then for the spread decoration, you can use the Lavaseath Greaves. So you definitely want to make sure that decoration's on your build in order to get a nice 10% boost in damage output. You can play these ammo types without that decoration. It's just that if you have access to it, you definitely want to throw that on the build. It's just a straight, it's like a level up for that ammo. It really is, just a straight increase. So yes, so with Pierce Ammo, you want to aim down the longest part of the monster's body. You want to make sure that it procs multiple times, bring your affinity, bring your crit, and let me think, there's one more thing I should say. When you're dealing with normal ammo, Pierce Ammo, and spread ammo, and you're using, let's say, normal ammo 2, Pierce Ammo level 3, spread ammo level 3, you're going to run into a point in the fight where you actually run out of that ammo type. And what you're going to need to do, you're going to need to bring the ingredients to craft more of it. But with the normal ammo, it's easy. With the normal ammo, by default, you already have an infinite amount of normal ammo 1, so you just bring gunpowder level 2, and this allows you to craft more normal ammo level 2. You can add that to your radio menu. I highly recommend it. In fact, always use your radio menu. That's what I've learned about Monster Hunter World. Just a pro tip here for new players. Learn to use that radio menu. It's super important. You're not going to play well without it. Okay, and then you have the Pierce Ammo. You're going to need to bring let's take a look at their names, because I can't remember them. Is it Latchberries? Might be Latchberries. Okay, you bring the Latchberry. Latchberry allows you to craft level 1 Pierce Ammo, and then you bring Gunpowder level 3 as well, and this allows you to combine the Pierce Ammo level 1 with the Gunpowder level 3 to craft more Pierce Ammo level 3. So that's also a really important skill to understand with the heavy bowguns and, well, primarily the heavy bowguns, which will be using Pierce Ammo level 3. It's really important to understand that so you can craft more ammo as you go and never really run out. The last thing I should mention about the Pierce Ammo is that it has a ton of critical range, okay? So you can actually stay pretty far away from your target and still do full damage to it. This is really nice. It's one of the big advantages of using Pierce Ammo, actually. It actually feels like a really strong ammo type, especially if you use it against a monster with a large body like what I was mentioning. Zenijeva, Uragan, Basilgeuse, right? If you're using it against a monster like that, you can just stay far away from them and just shoot down the length of their body. And also, you'll also want to pay attention to the ranged attack up mods. Those increase the damage of your bullet when the bullet travels far enough away from you. And I don't know if I already mentioned this, you should also, once again, be looking out for that Mind's Eye Ballistic decoration. If you can get that onto your build, that's going to increase the, just like with all of the ammo types, it's going to increase the critical distance of your bowgun, which is just a really, really nice thing to have, especially with Pierce Ammo because it actually pairs with the ranged attack up mod. So you can get really far away from your target. Ranged attack up mod's going to be active for most of the time that the bullet travels then, so you just get more damage, okay? Alright, so we've talked about normal ammo level 2, rapid fire, and how light bowguns are going to be the best at that. In particular, you'll probably be looking at the Kulftaroth shot light bowgun and the Kulftaroth support light bowgun. Then we talked a little bit about Pierce heavy bowguns. Pierce heavy bowguns, you can use Pierce with the light bowguns, but the heavy bowguns just do it better. They have more power, their clips are larger, they tend to have better recoil, they tend to have better reload speeds. So we tend to use the heavy bowguns for that ammo type. And now we're kind of moving on to the spread ammo, which is kind of the same deal. You have some light bowguns that are not bad at using the spread ammo. In particular, you have the Devil Joe light bowgun called Devil's Madness, which can use a spread ammo level 3. You also have a new Kajar Decay light bowgun that can also use the spread ammo level 3. So similar to the Pierce Ammo, what you really want to do is find a bowgun that uses the spread ammo level 3 really well with a fast reload speed and a low recoil and a big clip, and then you just want to build your affinity and your crit boost and your spread decoration onto that build, along with ammo up level 3 and spare shot. It's the same idea. The profile of the bullet is very different now. So with Pierce Ammo, you wanted to shoot a large monster down the length of his body. With normal ammo, you had kind of like a medium critical distance where you can move around the target and you're going to deal all of your damage to one part of the monster's body. Well, spread ammo also does all of its damage to whatever part of the body you're shooting, but it has a very short critical distance, and the bullet is kind of spread out in a big pellet, kind of like what you would expect from a shotgun, okay? And the way it works is this makes it similar to the Pierce Ammo. This makes it not the best ammo type for health recovery. It's going to be kind of bad at health recovery. However, it deals a ton of damage. The spread ammo generally does the most damage in terms of heavy bowgun, light bowgun output. You can't beat it. It's a higher risk ammo type to use, right? You have to be close to the target, which means you have to have a way to deal with being attacked by the monster, or you have to deal with the fact that the monster moves around a lot. You know, like if you're aiming for the monster's head, if he whips his head around a lot looking at your teammates, you're never going to get to shoot him in the head, which is one of the problems I run into when I'm using spread ammo. The monster, if you're playing with teammates and not solo, the monster tends to whip his weak points around too quickly, and it's kind of annoying. You kind of have to like chase him. But yeah, so spread ammo is the shotgun ammo type. You need to be close to your target so that you're going to be in critical distance. Also, in this case, the mods become a lot more important. You definitely want to use a bowgun that can also use the close range up mods, because once again, those give you I think the first one gives you a 10% increase to bullet damage, and the second time you use the mod, you get a 5% increase to damage to your bullet types. Well, in this case, since we're almost only going to be using spread ammo in close range, you're always going to be benefiting from that mod. So you're looking for a bowgun that has spread ammo level 3 with a big clip, low recoil, fast reload speed, and it doesn't really need any mods, which means that you're allowed to use your mods for close range up. And there is a bowgun that does this. It's called the Glutton Heavy Bowgun. Glutton Heavy Bowgun is one of the best weapons in the game, beating out all the other weapon classes, all the other weapons in terms of damage output. The bows are still a good option for competing with the Glutton, and surprise, surprise, is because the bows actually have a very similar attack as a spread ammo, right? The bows have their close range spread shots that do essentially the same thing and use the same spread shot decoration. So it turns out spread shot on the bow and spread ammo on the heavy bowgun is pretty valuable in this game for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's actually, in my opinion, after using a lot of weapons that have complicated combos, it's actually kind of easy to use spread shot and spread ammo on a target. And it just deals so much damage, and you can pair it with the KO mantle, the impact mantle. There we go. You can pair it with the impact mantle. All of these little bullets count as an individual shot. So if you're applying something like KO using the impact mantle, you're going to do that very quickly, right? So spread ammo is just a very good ammo type to learn. You really ought to take time to get good at it, and you'll want the Glutton heavy bowgun or the Horn heavy bowgun. Both of those are Kulft Heroth weapons. You could also use Destruction's Fusillade. That's the Nergigante heavy bowgun. It's not too good, but in terms of weapons that you can craft, because you can't craft Glutton and you can't craft Horn. And then once again, on the light bowgun side, you've got the Khajar Decay and you've got the Devil's Madness. You also have the Jayura Bullet, which uses rapid fire spread ammo level 2. But in this case, the difference between the bowguns, when we're talking about basic attack, like what your base attack is for that bowgun, the difference between the bowguns is big enough that Devil's Madness still wins out with spread ammo level 3, and same with Khajar Decay. So yeah, the spread ammo light bowguns and spread ammo heavy bowguns are going to be your best option a lot of the cases for dealing high damage in a solo fight. I'll say once again, I don't think it does as well in multiplayer. However, that doesn't mean you should never try to use it in multiplayer, and one of the fun uses of the spread ammo in multiplayer is when you go off to fight the behemoth, you can actually build a shield mod onto a heavy bowgun like the Glutton heavy bowgun, and then you can shoot behemoth in the head to trigger his enmity very quickly. You deal good damage because it's spread ammo, and you're able to guard the behemoth, and you have no trouble reaching his head because even though it's a close range ammo type, it's still going to do kind of a better job shooting behemoth in the head just because, it's not like a physical weapon, and you don't have to have like a move that stabs upward. You can always just aim your heavy bowgun upwards. So it's a very good tanking weapon when you're fighting the behemoth. All right, we're done talking about normal ammo, pierce ammo, and spread ammo. All of these ammo types that rely on affinity and critical boost and a special decoration that is specific to their ammo type, normal decoration, pierce decoration, spread decoration. We're done talking about those. We're going to move on down the list. The next ammo type that we have is the sticky ammo, and sticky ammo is really one of my favorite ammo types in the entire game. It's considered an explosive ammo type, and it deals stun damage when you land a shot of it. So sticky ammo has a lot of interesting attributes. Let's kind of break down the ammo profile for sticky ammo. So similar to normal ammo, pierce ammo, and spread ammo, sticky ammo also has 3 levels, and in general you do want to use sticky ammo level 3. It's just going to do the most damage per shot, and it also does something else. It deals KO damage. So all sticky ammo deals KO damage, which means if you don't know what KO damage is, with the monster, if you hit them in the head, their head has a hidden health bar for how much stun damage you're dealing. Sometimes we call this KO damage. When you bring that hidden health bar down to 0, because your attack type is dealing stun, the monster will then fall over. They'll be flailing around on the ground, and you'll see little stars pop up over their head, right? Is very important for crowd control, and the sticky ammo deals that. It deals stun damage. Another thing the sticky ammo has going for it is it doesn't have true critical range. Obviously, you can shoot it from critical range, but you only ever do like 2 damage or 1 damage when the bullet lands, and that's what's being calculated by the critical range. So as you can see on screen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get outside of the critical range, and then I'm going to fire my sticky ammo. You'll notice it only does like a 1 to the pillar, but if we wait, it eventually explodes for full damage. So sticky ammo does this. Another type of ammo that does this is the slice ammo, which maybe we'll talk about that right afterwards. But yeah, for the sticky ammo has some really specific attributes. First of all, it is an explosive damage type, which means that it ignores affinity. So if you have a negative affinity, it doesn't matter. Sticky ammo isn't affected by that. Sticky ammo, once again, since it's an explosive type, it also ignores weak spots. It ignores everything to always do the same amount of damage. That's what an explosive damage type does. You have other weapons and other ammo types in the game that deal explosive damage. For example, with the gun lance, when you're using shelling, that's an explosive damage type, and it doesn't really care where you shoot the monster. It's always going to do a set amount of damage. Well, when you're building for an explosive damage type, it only gets affected by one skill, really, and that's the artillery skill. So if you want to increase the damage of your sticky ammo, you have to bring 3 levels of artillery, which you can easily do with an artillery charm. Similarly, if you get the artillery decorations, they're pretty rare, but if you get 3 of them, you can just build that into your setup wherever you have room for small decorations. So sticky ammo, I like it because you can max out the damage you're allowed to do with it by just bringing 3 levels of artillery, and then after that, you really only have to worry about getting spare shot and ammo up onto your build. Just like the other ammo types, you want those skills because you're going to increase the size of your clip and decrease the number of times you have to reload over the course of the fight. When it comes to using mods with the sticky ammo isn't really affected by close range or ranged attack mods. You mostly want to look at getting rid of its recoil and or reducing its reload speed. With the light bow guns, it's not possible to reduce the recoil of the sticky ammo level 3, so your next best bet is to reduce the reload speed, which I've found you can do that with the Devil's Madness. Devil's Madness has a higher base attack, which is good for sticky ammo, and then you can put the artillery skill on, and then finally you can use 3 reload mods so that you get a fast reload on your sticky ammo level 3. This is really valuable. Meanwhile, over on the heavy bowgun side, you have the Thegameconomist and the Dark Devourer, which are typically sticky ammo heavy bowguns that you'll use, and they hold a lot more ammo than the Devil's Madness. However, if you want to have a good recoil with them, you can bring the recoil down to high, and you'll have a slow reload speed, so you're kind of prone when you're reloading, and there's just no way around that, unfortunately. So with the light bowgun, you won't be shooting out as much damage with the sticky ammo, but you're much safer when you reload, and then with the heavy bowguns, you're just going to get a lot more damage, but you're going to be prone while you're reloading. So, I would say that the heavy bowguns in this case still do a better job, but if you're going to be using a light bowgun, you should still familiarize yourself with the Devil Madness sticky ammo build because it's good. I mean, I used it earlier to finish stage 4 of the Behemoth alone, and it's just such a safe playstyle. And then when you're using it on a team with your friends, sticky ammo does not cause any kind of friendly fire, and it gives your teams KOs. So really, the benefit of KO damage is multiplied by the number of teammates who can take advantage of a knockdown monster. That's why I think that sticky ammo is secretly one of the best and one of the easiest ammo types in the game. It's not the fastest, but it is one of the easiest. As a last note for the sticky ammo, I don't remember if I mentioned this or not, sticky ammo level 1 will deal the least amount of stun or KO damage, and then sticky ammo level 3 will deal the most KO damage, and yes, these ammo types are affected by the slugger skill, so you can actually build slugger to make them even more efficient at KOing a monster. And by the way, there's 2 really efficient ways to build KO. You've got the Diablo's Chest, or you've got the KO Charm, which the KO Charm actually gives you 3 levels of a medium decoration skill. So it's really efficient. So yeah, definitely build those together. It's the only case where I recommend bringing the KO skill onto your build. Usually you have hammers and hunting horns that could take the KO skill as well, but with them you usually just focus on damage because those weapons can actually use affinity and critical boost. With the sticky ammo type, you only use artillery, so you just go artillery, slugger, ammo up, spare shot, just like that. Okay, we're going to go a little bit out of order, and I'm going to talk about the slice ammo. The slice ammo is similar to the sticky ammo, which is why I thought it would be a good idea to talk about it. This ammo type, when the game first launched, everyone was super excited about it because it was way too strong, right? You could just solo a lot of monsters by keeping your distance from the monster and shooting it with the slice ammo. And back then, what made it so powerful is kind of why it's still useful today. Similar to the sticky ammo, you don't have to use critical range. You don't have to worry about it. So you'll just fire your sticky ammo from whatever distance you want to shoot it from, as long as it says, like if you get really far away, let me try this out. I think you can do it from the back of the training room. If you get really far away, yeah, it says out of range. And even when it says out of range, sometimes if you get like on the edge of the out of range sign, it'll still land. Let's try that out. I'm going to get just on the edge of the out of range. Yep, and it still lands. So you have tons of range with the slice ammo, And then what made it so powerful back then is you had enough of it in reserves and it just dealt more damage back then. You could just cheese a monster by staying far, far away from it and shooting it continually with the slice ammo. In fact, if you're a new player, using the slice ammo and using the sticky ammo are two of the easiest ways to do well with the bowgun without dying too fast. Let me put it that way. You just run away from the monster, get away from it, and then shoot slice ammo. With the slice ammo, it does take a little more skill than the sticky ammo in my opinion. That's because with the slice ammo, you actually want to land the bullet on the monster's weak spot. Okay, so if you are using sticky ammo, you can shoot it anywhere, like the tip of the tail, the tummy. It's always going to deal the same amount of damage. But with the slice ammo, you actually need to hit the ammo weak spots of your target. So let's say the monster has a weakness on his head, you would need to land all of your bullets on his head in order to deal good damage. And one of the problems you run into with the slicing ammo is that you actually run out of reserves. That's my main criticism at this point. Slice ammo does pretty close to the damage of normal ammo 3. What ends up happening is normal ammo 3 does more damage than slice ammo because you're able to build force shot on your normal ammo build, and the force shot gives you an extra 10% damage that ends up making the normal ammo more powerful than the slice ammo. So the slice ammo is officially weaker than the normal ammo, and then worse than that, it actually runs out of ammo before the monster is dead. So, you know, I don't recommend it as your primary damage source anymore. In fact, I feel like what Capcom did a pretty good job of is turning slice ammo exactly into what they designed it for. Slice ammo is used for breaking monster parts. You can use it to break a monster part or to cut a tail, right? So in order to cut a tail, you need to deal sever damage, and that's exactly the type of damage that slice ammo does. So if you're playing on a team, let's say you're fighting the behemoth, and the behemoth still has his tail, you can go ahead and cut his tail off using the slice ammo, and then you can swap over to a different light bowgun or to a different ammo type. A great light bowgun that uses slice ammo is the Emperor's Shell Sticks, and a great heavy bowgun that uses slice ammo is, unsurprisingly, the Emperor's Cannon Sticks. Once again, these are bowguns that come with the spare shot skill. You're able to focus the rest of your build on pure affinity and crit boost. Yes, slice ammo, similar to normal, pierce, and spread, is affected by affinity and crit boost in order to increase your damage. You want to get your affinity to 100. You could use weakness exploit, you can use maximum might, and then you want to get 3 levels of crit boost onto your build however you can. Unfortunately, there's no special like I said earlier, normal ammo gets a special decoration called force shot for upping its damage. Slice ammo doesn't have anything like that. However, since like I'm saying, you might consider using it strictly for cutting off monster parts, you might build the part breaker skill with the slice ammo. Alright, so that's the slice ammo. I don't use it very often. It's just okay, and I've really moved away from it. I do still use full sticky ammo builds where sticky ammo is all of my damage output, but I don't do that anymore with slice ammo. The big problem is, once again, you run out of the ammo type and then you have to go back to camp. You go back to camp with the Farcaster, but by the time you've ran back to the monster, you've already lost all this damage. So, you know, it's just okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at what ammo type we're going to be talking about next. So we've talked about sticky, we've talked about slice. Oh, now we're going to talk about one of the most important ammo types in the game, the cluster bombs. So cluster bombs, where do I start with the cluster bombs? Well, first of all, I have a whole guide for using cluster bombs. If you really want to be good at cluster bombs, go take a look at that video. I'll leave a link in the comment section, or you can click up here in order to see that video. Basically, cluster bombs are known as one of the cheesiest, most overpowered ammo types in the game. In fact, they kind of became notoriously easy when the Behemoth came out, and I was one of the first people to post a Behemoth solo to YouTube, and I did it, unsurprisingly, using cluster bombs. That was because back then, heavy bowguns were my main weapon, and I just knew all about them already, so it was very easy for me to do that. Basically, with the cluster bombs, when you hold down the trigger, your character goes into a special pose, if you want to call that. It's going to fire a big bomb in the air that falls back down, and simple enough, it just deals a ton of damage. That's it. It has a really weird thing where it looks like it should be an explosive damage type similar to the sticky ammo, but it's not. So with the cluster bomb, you're able to build attack boost and you're able to build peak performance to get the damage output up. However, it's not affected by affinity. So it's really kind of a weird ammo type. You just build as much attack as you can onto the build. Of course, you want to build the ammo up skill, and you want to build the spare shot skill as well. Those really affect your output, especially if you get lucky. So cluster bombs, they're just one of the strongest ammo, just flat out one of the strongest ammo types. You don't hold a lot of shots of it, But what people tend to do is they get cluster bomb ammo onto their build, and they just spam cluster bomb level 3 on the Dark Devourer and on the Thegameconomist. Once again, if you want to learn all about doing that, it's one of the easiest ways to kill anything in the game, even the most difficult monsters in the game. For example, somebody soloed the Extreme Behemoth in only 15 minutes by themselves using cluster bombs. So that's cluster bombs. They're just really strong. Also, they knock your teammates away. I should mention that. Cluster bombs are only found on the heavy bowguns. They're not affected by the close range mod. They're not affected by the ranged attack up mod. They're only affected by like reload, recoil. So all of that's useful information. You typically want to, I think you typically build recoil with the cluster bombs. I don't think I ever build reload for the cluster bombs, and that's because you can't increase the reload speed of cluster bomb level 3. And I already told you the heavy bowguns that do it best, the Dark Devourer and the Thegameconomist. Alright, and you'll notice that they're just not available on the light bowguns. Alright, so that's cluster bombs. They're really important, really, really important. Knock your teammate away with the cluster bomb. Alright, and then we have our first elemental ammo, the flaming ammo type. With the elemental ammo, I'll actually talk about all 4 of them. Let's see. Yeah, so we have dragon ammo, but that's a special case, so we're not going to talk about that yet. You have flaming, water, thunder, and freeze ammo types. And they're kind of strange. They work just like the pierce ammo. They pierce through the body of the monster, pop out the other side, and they do ticks of damage while they're traveling. Well, unlike the pierce ammo, the elemental ammo, they need a lot of distance to travel before they tick, or before they proc a second chunk of damage. So it's really, really important that the monster you fight has a huge body. A perfect example of this is Wroth. So for a while, when the game launched, elemental ammo felt kind of inconsequential. And then we discovered Wroth, one of the monsters in the game that has the most rewards, valuable rewards too, like meta setting rewards. She's extremely weak to thunder ammo. So a lot of people go with very, carefully thought out part breaker thunder ammo builds to fight Wroth. And let's see, we need to teach you how to use it, right? So let me pick up a light bowgun. One moment. Let's pick up a light bowgun that can use it. Okay, I'm going to use the Khajar Blitz Thunder. So this is actually a really good choice. So the Khajar Blitz Thunder, let's go ahead and take a look at the attributes for the ammo type on this weapon. So I'll select it. I'm going to click in the left joystick, and you'll notice that the Thunder ammo has rapid fire and the Freeze ammo does not. So you can see that light bowguns, once again, they have access to the rapid fire, but this time on the elemental ammo types, and that's really valuable. There's no like Thunder ammo level 2, there's just Thunder ammo. So with it being rapid fire, that's just a direct upgrade to your damage. That's it. It's just a direct upgrade. You'll notice that the Freeze ammo does not have that. So let's go ahead and compare those two, Thunder ammo and Freeze ammo. Alright, I see 35 and 2 procs of 17. That would be 35 and 34. Together, that would be just shy of 70. So that's just shy of 70 damage. Let's go ahead and test Freeze now. Only 35. Big difference, see? I'm doing 35 damage with the Freeze, but with the Thunder ammo, I'm doing way more, almost twice as much. So with the light bowguns, generally what you're going to be doing is looking for rapid fire elemental ammo types, and you'll be picking the light bowgun that has the most base attack and the rapid fire elemental ammo type of your preference. And you should also keep an eye on recoil and reload speed, but generally those are not a problem. Basically, you'll pick the best light bowguns for each of those elemental types, and you should know them. And then when you run into a monster that's particularly weak to elemental ammo types, you just basically you cheese them, because similar to the pierced ammo, look at the critical distance on this. See how far away I am? I'm really far away, and the ammo type still works from back here. So elemental ammo, it works very similar to the pierce ammo, but it requires that the monster has a really big body in order for you to take the biggest advantage of elemental ammo. And once again, what ended up happening was rapid fire thunder became pretty much the meta for cheesing through, or well, I don't know if cheesing is the right word, but farming Arch-Tempered Wroth. Now the heavy bowguns also have elemental ammo types, but are they as good at it? No. And that's because the heavy bowguns do not get rapid fire. And so once again, this is what the light bowguns do best, is the elemental ammo, and the heavy bowguns do not have access to this. Some other things I want to point out, we're going to talk about something I should have talked about with the Pierce ammo. So when you're shooting a monster and your bullet is traveling through their body, what might happen is that the part of the body that you originally fired at might have been considered a weak spot, but the rest of the body that the bullet travels through might not be a weak spot. So you have a skill that everyone becomes familiar with at some point called Weakness Exploit. Weakness Exploit, it gives you bonus affinity for shooting a weak spot, except you're not going to get that bonus affinity as the bullet travels. It's going to travel to a non-weak spot. So a more favorable form of building affinity is to do an affinity augmentation. Maximum Might gives you affinity that you just receive that affinity as long as your stamina is full, and the Critical Eye skill. So Critical Eye can give you 30% more affinity, and that's it. It's just flat affinity. And we refer to this as static affinity, meaning it stays the same no matter where the bullet is in the monster's body. So with a Pierce ammo build or an Elemental ammo build, it's favorable to max out your affinity using only static affinity types like, once again, Crit Eye, Maximum Might, and an affinity augmentation. It's also worth noting that I don't think Crit Boost really affects the elemental ammo types that much. I remember I did a lot of testing with it, and it seemed like Crit Boost barely shifted your damage at all. And so when I'm building for elemental ammo, I skip Crit Boost. Something that does affect your damage output, of course, are the like the water attack boost, right? You want that fire boost. Let's see what is the name of those actual decorations. Let's take a look. Let's get this right. Right, so here they are. We have fire attack, water attack, ice attack, and thunder attack. So all of those elemental skills will boost the damage of your elemental ammo. However, what's interesting, and the game doesn't really explain it to you, so you're lucky you have me to explain it to you. You only want to take 2 to 3 levels of that skill, because if you max it out to 5, it stops. Well, let me say it this way: it stops working after level 3. You can get a pretty significant damage boost from 2 levels of the, let's say, water attack, right? You'll get a pretty significant boost to your water ammo with 2 levels of that, but on the 3rd level, it's actually kind of small, and then on the 4th level, there is no benefit anymore. So there's actually an elemental damage cap. See what I'm saying? There's an elemental damage cap to your ammo types when it comes to boosting them using the skill, the water attack skill, thunder attack skill. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You only need like 2 levels of the skill, 3 levels if you have room for an extra decoration. Alright, and then we have the Dragon Ammo, a really weird ammo type that I never use. It is a really bizarre ammo type, but the problem with Dragon Ammo is that, well, I feel like Capcom added it in as if it was itself an ailment ammo type. Is not meant for damage, is basically meant to apply Elder Seal. So let's say you're fighting Valhazak and he's got his effluvial shield or whatever, right? And you're like, well, I want to cancel that. You could walk up to him and fire all of your dragon ammo into him, and it'll apply the Elder Seal to him so that he can't have his Elder Dragon shield anymore, whatever you want to call it, his abilities. Yeah, it'll nerf his ability to have his effluvia, and that's what you do with the dragon ammo. Similarly, you have like Teostra, he has an aura as well, an Elder Dragon aura, and that builds up, and eventually he uses his Teostra Supernova, right? His Supernova attack. Well, if you want to kind of cancel that, you could walk up and you could use all of your dragon ammo, and you might be able to stop him from being able to access that for a little while. Just for a little while, but the problem is you quickly run out of dragon ammo. The other problem is the projection of the dragon ammo is really bizarre. Like, it just moves really slowly, and then it actually falls down. It's one of the only ammo types that arcs. It has an arcing projectile. So it's a really strange ammo type. I never really use it because, for me, I personally just focus on damage. And the faster you focus on damage, the sooner the monster dies. Alright, and now we're getting closer to wrapping up this ammo guide because we don't have a lot else to talk about. We have Poison Ammo 1 and 2. It does exactly what you think it does. When you shoot the monster with it, it poisons them. You have Paralysis Ammo level 1 and 2. This is a very valuable ammo type to be able to use, because when you shoot a monster, you paralyze it. And then probably my favorite ammo type, the sleep ammo, 1 and 2, when you shoot the monster, you're able to put them to sleep. The reason I really like this on the bowguns is because you can put the monster to sleep, and then you can use your special ammo type on the monster, and with the heavy bowguns in particular, you can wake them up with another ammo type, we're going to talk about it, called the Wyvern Ammo, or Wyvern Ammo. But yeah, so those are the Ailment Ammo types. And then we have an Ailment Ammo type I really don't use called the Exhaust Ammo. The problem is the end game monsters, like most of the end game Elder Dragons, are not affected by exhaust. The Behemoth is affected by exhaust, but the truth is I end up focusing on damage rather than exhaust ammo when I fight them. But what's interesting about the exhaust ammo is you could also think of it as a KO ammo type, similar to the sticky ammo. So if you have like maybe a light bowgun and you don't want to use the sticky ammo on your light bowgun because it's not very good at sticky ammo, I'll mention with the light bowguns, sticky ammo typically has very high recoil, so you won't build for that, right? But you could bring your exhaust ammo, and the way it works is as long as you shoot the monster in the head, you're going to build up that stun. So exhaust ammo, it could have been called KO ammo. It does the same thing. I don't use it very often, but and primarily that's not because it's a bad ammo type. It's once again, it's because monsters don't really get exhausted. It's very hard to exhaust Arch-Tempered Elder Dragons. It's very easy to KO them with the sticky ammo, and the sticky ammo actually deals damage. So if I want to KO, I just use the sticky ammo. Alright, and after that we have Recovery Ammo 1 and 2. This is the first time we get, in the list of ammo that I'm reviewing, this is the first time we get Team Buff Ammo. It's a very interesting ammo type where you actually turn and you aim it at your teammate, and then you shoot them with the Recovery Ammo, and if the bullet hit them, they actually get healed. Strange, right? So it's kind of like, there's another weapon in the game that can do this, is the Hunting Horn. The Hunting Horn has a buff, depending on which Hunting Horn you brought, that allows you to heal your teammates. Well, the bowguns, light bowguns and heavy bowguns, are pretty much the only other weapon that do this, and they do it with Recovery Ammo. So it's not something I use very often. The reason why is because I'm usually focused on dealing damage on the monster, but it is still worth taking a look at, kind of paying attention to, especially if you have Recovery Ammo level 2. The Recovery Ammo level 2 is pretty generous. It heals a lot. And so if you've got a light bowgun or a heavy bowgun that can actually bring that ammo type, you can certainly bring it with you. And if you see a teammate who's really in trouble, try shooting them with the Recovery Ammo. Note that this is interesting because I didn't learn about this till later, but on your radial menu, I'll show you. On your radial menu, you're actually able to scroll quickly over to an ammo type that you want. So what I've done is I've added Recovery Ammo level 2 to my radial menu. And now what'll happen is when I click on that, it'll automatically shift my ammo list. It'll automatically shift it over to Recovery Ammo level 2. So let's say your teammate's having a crisis. Open up your radial menu, click on the Recovery Ammo, and then just go crazy. Just fire it. Another thing you should know about the Team Buff ammo types, there's a few of them, is that they pierce through your teammates and hit everyone in a line. So if your teammates all group up, you can actually shoot them all and have the ammo applied to all of them. This also means when you're in the field fighting the monster, if you can kind of move and wait for your teammates to line up, it's better to try and shoot multiple teammates at the same time. Besides the Recovery Ammo, we also have the Demon Ammo and the Armor Ammo. Now these are very, very expensive ammo types, so I highly recommend saving these for end game content, but once you get to the end game content, don't be greedy, go ahead and use them, okay? And the way they work is similar to the Recovery Ammo. You're going to shoot your teammates, and the Demon Ammo and the Armor Ammo will actually stack on top of all the other buffs in the game, so you can give your team a nice little buff to attack and a nice little buff to defense. I do use these when I fight the Behemoth. And that's all of the Team Buff ammo types. We really don't have a lot left to talk about. We have the Wyvern Ammo. So the Wyvern Ammo, I build it on 2 heavy bowguns. Wyvern Ammo is a heavy bowgun only ammo type, similar to the cluster bombs. It's very close range. It's basically the same thing as the Gunlance's Wyvern Fire, except when you use it, you don't get knocked back as far. But yeah, it's an explosive damage type, which means it's going to deal the same amount of damage to any part of the monster's body. It's got 2 2 ticks of damage. It's got a main tick where you do most of your damage, then a little, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's just like a smaller afterburn tick, and that's going to do less damage, but it contributes, so you definitely want to land both parts of it. It also has a big wind up, so you're kind of prone when you go into firing the Wyvern Ammo. It's a really terrific ammo type for waking up sleeping monsters, because you get a modifier, right? That's how sleeping monsters work. They get you get a damage modifier if you're the first source of damage to wake up the monster. And so you'll use your Wyvern Ammo on a sleeping monster next to the Mega Barrel Bombs and just deal tons of damage. Some heavy bowguns can actually use the Wyvern Fire as if it was their primary ammo. The only 2 heavy bowguns I do this with are the Griffin Bazooka, which Griffin Bazooka it has a really high base attack, but it has a lot of negative affinity. That doesn't affect Wyvern Ammo because, again, it's an explosive ammo type, similar to the sticky ammo, and this means that when you're using it, it doesn't care about the negative affinity on your build. It's always going to do the same damage to the whatever part of the monster's body you hit. And the other one is the Kovtaroth Horn heavy bowgun. The Horn heavy bowgun is pretty much a Griffin Bazooka clone, except it comes with spread ammo and a different special ammo type, the Wyvern Heart. So yeah, they're both very capable of using the Wyvern Ammo. I should name the last one actually. There's also the Teostra heavy bowgun. That one also can use the Wyvern Ammo really well, and that's because it actually it holds 2 shots of Wyvern Ammo. It does less damage per shot compared to Griffin Bazooka and the Horn heavy bowgun. However, it holds 2 shots, which means you don't have to reload in between your shots. That's really nice. And then for all of these heavy bowguns, they all have an improved reload on the Wyvern Ammo, so they're all able to reload that ammo type faster. That's really important because if you use it with a different heavy bowgun, like let's say the Dark Devourer, very popular heavy bowgun, the Dark Devourer, if you use the Wyvern Ammo on that, you're going to have a slow reload speed. You're not going to have a fast one. Alright, so now you know about the Wyvern Ammo. Wyvern Ammo is one of my favorite ammo types in the game. I think it's a lot of fun, but there aren't a lot of builds that bring it. That's because you actually run out of ammo type really fast. You only get 5 shots of it, and then you can craft 5 more of them, right? But that's it. So you get a total of 10 shots, and that's usually, even if you land all shots and you're super buffed for attack power, for the end game monsters, that's usually not enough damage, but it's kind of like right on the line. You're actually pretty close to it being enough damage. So sometimes what players will do is they'll use like the Fortify skill to allow themselves to be killed, and that'll bring them back to camp. They can pick up more ammo, and they'll be doing a little bit more damage, right? So some people do stuff like that. That's kind of advanced. It's kind of an advanced technique. Finally, the very last ammo type we're going to be talking about is the Tranq Ammo. We're pretty much done. This is a very easy ammo type. It replaces the Tranq Bomb. Basically, if you put a monster in a trap, like the Shock Trap or the Pitfall Trap, all you have to do is shoot them with the Tranq Ammo, and they'll be caught. I don't really feel like it was necessary. It's just kind of a nice bonus for using a bowgun, and that's it. That's all that ammo type does. It's just used for capturing monsters. Alright, that is my guide for all of the ammo types. Let me know if you watched the whole thing. I'm actually kind of curious. And then, yeah, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.